All right, so a beach bar has been sued for copyright infringement because they played a hit song and now they might have to pay $30,000. So, why did this happen? What's going on? Let's jump into it. So, Wally's Pub, it's a popular bar and venue in Hampton Beach, and they're fighting a copyright lawsuit that was actually brought by the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, which is ASCAP. We talk about ASCAP and BMI. They are two of the biggest companies that do public performance royalty collection in the United States. So ASCAP, they're suing now. And I was pretty surprised by this, and I wanted to talk about it because I get the question from time to time from people. They're like, do I really need to get licenses to play music in my venue, in the mall? Is ASCAP really going to sue me? Is BMI really going to sue me? Well, they really are suing. So as one of the biggest, licensing companies, I guess they had given notice to Wally's Pub. They're alleging, and they're like, hey, your license from, what was it, 2013 lapsed in 2017? Yeah, May of 2017. And so they're like, we called you, we emailed you, we sent you an owl courier, we did all the things, and you still haven't paid. So now they're suing. And, the reason why they're saying potentially $30,000 is because under the Copyright Act, you can get statutory damages.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of the claims, it can be from 750 up to 30,000. So what do you think?
I think that's something that, we've seen happen when bars have when they run like sporting events, like UFC fights, they need to get like the licenses and the permissions to do the same thing. And, the same thing for venues when they're doing music. I mean, it is a public performance of music, especially when you're dealing with bands and stuff. And, one of the songs that's causing a lot of the stir is Bad Company's Feel Like Making Love, which I can't, if this bar plays this, I can't even imagine how many instances of that song that bar has played, if that's the style of music, because that's a huge song in that genre. So, but they also did the Bare Naked Ladies Old Apartment. It's just crazy that these people, they should know these things going into it.
And at some point, obviously, they did get a license. So why they allowed it to lapse? And
Right.
the owner is contending, no, we have a proper licensing, and this is just a mistake. Now we'll see how this all kind of pans out. But for ASCAP to really take the step to actually sue, that's a pretty big move. I don't hear too often of ASCAP or BMI suing, but in this case they did. But also you have to be aware, like literally singing "Happy Birthday"
Right.
in a
Right.
bar can get the bar into trouble if they
Right.
don't have the proper licensing because it's the public performance of a song in their venue that they authorize. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you expect them to do. I mean, you're gonna have security like tackle people who are singing "Happy Birthday." Shut up.
Yeah, no, it's got to be pretty hard to actually catch and enforce, and somebody has to be in a really vindictive way, and then somebody else has to be really bothered enough to go do something, I would think. But but that's why these things are there. And so when you're dealing with music, you're dealing with a lot of different artists. Like, it's not just one person that you're worried about, you know, something. It's a lot of different artists. So
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
this is not the first time that ASCAP or other organizations like ASCAP have sued, right? So we had Stacey Jane's, a karaoke bar. They were forced to pay 17,000 bucks and some change, plus the attorney's fees. So it's a pretty big ticket you got to pay.
It says the average cost for bars and restaurants to obtain the license from ASCAP is less than $2 a day, and that allows them to play an unlimited amount of music. So maybe that's why it's the kind of like do something that sets an example, because it's really not that much money of a fee that they have to pay a year to do their unlimited coverage of whatever it is they need to do. That just seems kind of defiant. If they already did it and they didn't, they knew they stopped doing it.
Yeah, I mean at $2 a day.
Bar rescue.
So, yeah, right. Yeah, he never talks about that. 730 bucks for a year. Now, I had a situation where someone owned a fitness facility
Mhm.
and it was for mostly like private stuff, but actually they have different rules depending on what type of venue it is. Are you taking a fee for everyone who's coming into it? So for example, like Pandora
Yeah.
has Pandora for Business.
Right.
So they go,
Right.
hey, we're getting the licenses for you. We got you covered, blah, blah, blah. But you have to read the terms. And so, for example, if you are like a fitness place or you take overhead, right, per person to come in, they're like, our license doesn't cover you. So, someone had actually gotten this license. They thought they were covered. And then they're getting now as they call it, harassed. I'm getting harassed by BMI. I'm being harassed by ASCAP. But you have to just make sure you actually read the terms of service. So, if you're going through any company, they're like, hey, we're going to solve all your problems. We got your copyright. We got your licensing. We got this and that. Make sure you do your research. That's all I have to say. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Please do your research.